I'm not sure if anyone else does this, but I've gotten into the habit of opening a separate YouTube window of the stream that I'm presently doing
Mhm.
because in the past I've been struck down by YouTube's uh, bots mistakenly
Yeah. Yeah.
or possibly intentionally. I don't know. But
Oh yeah.
their bots are out of control.
Awesome.
Welcome to welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host Wyman. We are joined by a very special guest today. Is it pronounced Anis?
NS.
Anis?
NS. Yeah.
Anis Eskander?
Yep. That's brilliant. Thank you.
Anis. Oh man.
Thank you. It's Arabic. It means happiness or felicity.
Oh,
Hence,
Anis.
I'm now like trying to live up to my name.
Right on. Well, you're doing a great job.
No, thank you.
That's pretty trippy. Um, oh my gosh. So, welcome to the show. Welcome.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me on the show.
Can you give us a little backstory? Uh, how did you even get into having an interest in comics?
Yeah.
Did you read them when you were a kid?
Well, I mean, my background, I've always been interested in fashion. And when I was a little kid, I was always drawing fashion illustrations, which is kind of like similar to like comics, having your own style. And, in addition to that, I was always interested in film and writing. So over the years, those interests, stayed with me. And even when I was like, sort of studying fashion, I'd always be looking at comics to help me, especially sometimes manga, like just to kind of like get like my own personal style of illustrating. But sort of for me, like my strength is more flat garment drawing. But it was always there in the background. One of my keen interests was always like things like Batman, The Crow, Flux. They were always like, sort of like something that, that I could relate to. And sort of I got back into writing when I was at university, did it as an elective, and just ended up stumbling into screenwriting. So I carried that on, and I wrote Eyva initially as a feature film as part of a trilogy, and then I changed it to like a TV pilot. And then when I was working with my mentor, he said to me, "You know what? You've worked so hard on the world. It's so stylized," because I'm a big fan of Blade Runner. Why not turn it into, a comic? It really lends itself well to that. And I was, I kind of like in the back of my mind thought, wow, yeah, that would be great. And then at the same time, it's like, you're staring up at a mountain thinking, how am I going to do this? Sort of how am I going to find an illustrator that can really, sort of visualize what's in my head. And it wasn't until I think I found a few people, but they, it just wasn't right. And then it was only until like I had a copy of the Flux graphic novel that was done for the film that I came across Timothy Green II, and I contacted him through DeviantArt. I saw his stuff and I was like, wow, this is like the, exactly what I'm looking for. And the way he portrays like the characters, having sort of their soul, like you can see that they've got a soul, you can see really good expressions on their face. And because I'm all about internal conflict and sort of being torn between two different sides, and things like that. So I contacted him and I said, listen, I'm working on this project, would you be interested in working with me as a collaboration? And he was like, yeah, actually, send me the pitch. And I pitched it to him. And, at the time, the year before, my husband had passed away. So I thought it was a brilliant way to kind of distract myself from really kind of, you know, getting bogged down with the grief. And you know, I was sort of, I did have issues like in terms of, you know, anger. I was pretty angry about what happened to him, because I didn't think it was fair, you know, for him to pass away at such a young age. He had a brain tumor, which was really unexpected. And he was only 40. So he had his whole life ahead of him, and he always looked after his health. He ate well, he didn't smoke, and he was very sporty. So, you know, I thought kind of life had dealt me sort of a blow, and you know, I just thought, you know what, like, just kind of, I think in times like that, you've got to be productive, creative, and kind of, you know, doing this has kind of helped me in so many ways. And at the same time, you know, I've put my own personal experiences into the story, because I don't do things by halves, which sometimes can be an issue. Because I can be a bit of a perfectionist, and I want to create this epic saga. And it's like, wait a second, this is like my first project. You know, maybe we should kind of like learn to walk before we start running, you know. So
this whole thing started as a script for a trilogy movie, right?
Yeah, exactly. And
so trying to convert that into a comic book, like all in one book, would be quite an undertaking.
Oh, it would be, yes, definitely. I mean, but also, like, what we did was, like, when I changed it to a TV pilot, so it had like 5 acts, and I showed it to Timothy. I said, you know, what do you think? So he did the beats, and he was planning it all out. We only managed to get Act 1 in the first issue, because there was just so much like happening. And I was like, well, okay, that's a good thing, you know, because we've got enough material for, like, you know, 5 episodes and then more. So we are pretty much ahead of the game. So, you know, while I'm printing out issue 1, you know, I can prep, you know, get issue 2 illustrated, and in the meantime, kind of make sure that, you know, sort of we've got enough material. The material's all fine-tuned, you know, to carry on and create a series. So that is my intention, you know. I mean, I remember going to like Harry Potter studios here in just outside of London, and I was absolutely just, you know, just in awe of the fact that this started off in one person's head. And I was so interested by the way, you know, the intricate details, you know, they sort of undertook in terms of the costumes, the food, you know, sort of everything was just so, like, you know, minute. Like, it was really interesting and really beautiful to see. I mean, I know it's like, in a way, like commercialized, you know, which I think sometimes it can be a bit much, you know, because let's just say when you get to the gift shop, you are robbed blind. Especially when you have 2 kids and it's Christmas, you know, you undergo a proper fleasing, you know?
That's Disney for you.
Oh, absolutely.
Overpriced merchandise. Commie Mark says, hail. Hail on this.
Oh, hello, Commie Mark. Yes, I was on his show yesterday. We had a really good natter, you know. So yeah, I think we must have stayed on talking after the show for another like half hour.
Oh my gosh!
So, no, yeah, I know. We can. Yeah, I have a talent for talking.
That's pretty cool.
Well, having said that, I do have my breaks where, you know, I think it's because if I'm working on my art, like, you know, that's my break. You won't hear a peep out of me. So it's kind of the yin and yang sort of scenario, you know, one end of the spectrum to the other. So yeah.
Did you mentioned that a piece of you is threaded through the story of Eyva.
Yeah.
Did you also find opportunities to put, some of the spirit of your late husband into it as well?
Yeah, I think sort of there is one character where kind of like, I put sort of the essence of his personality into him, where he can be a bit sardonic, a bit sarcastic, so yeah, and at the beginning also, I think I also put a dedication on the front page for him, and that was kind of in the spirit of when they did the dedication in remembrance for Brandon Lee at the beginning of The Crow. And I thought, yeah, and also with what happened to my husband, sort of where he had a tumor attached to his brainstem, sort of you'll find in the story that Eyva's a bioengineer. She's working on developing neurobots that can regenerate cranial nerves, because if they get damaged, that's it, you are done for. You can your muscles won't work. In the case of my husband, he lost his ability to swallow, so all his saliva was going straight into his lungs, and then he passed away from pneumonia. So in a way, it's kind of, there is things that happen with my husband and also his character in one of the characters. I've also, my daughter, she's like, am I going to be in this? And I was like, yes, of course. And so, and like eventually, sort of following issues, you'll see sort of a child character, and she's got the essence of my daughter. And so, yeah, I do kind of I don't want it to be all fantastical. I do want to kind of have a level of authenticity to the characters, to kind of make them a little bit spicier, as they come off the page. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, sort of, if you're a creative, it's the best way to kind of pull your influences is from your own life, or you could just be watching the news and some crazy story happens, and then you can just use that as a starting point, and then somehow you may eventually feed some of your own personal things into that story. Yeah.
True. When you first came up, how long did it take to even come up with the concept and idea and story behind Eyva?
I think it was always running in my head for a while. Like, I think it was 2011. I was just sort of messing around, writing, and then I went to the Metropolitan Film School, and that's based in Ealing Studios. It's where they film the kitchen scene in Downton Abbey, and that's next door, basically. So that's my claim to fame. And I know I did a year screenwriting, and that put all my rough work into sort of a more of a context, a proper format for screenwriting. And the guy that was teaching was actually one of the readers who read the Pulp Fiction script, and he was French, and he just said when he read it, he just didn't get the humor of Pulp Fiction. And especially the part about the burger scene, sort of when they're in the car and La Big Mac, we were watching this clip, we were sitting there cackling, and he's like, I do not understand this, and I was like, your friend, well, there's just I think it helps if you're first language is English, whether it's American or UK, you get, it's just such, mundane chatter to have between these two kind of gangsters who are like, oh yeah, we just shot and massacred a whole group of people, and or like we're about to, and we're about to, and we're like really keen on a burger.
It's quite an interesting choice to, use a Frenchman to to read lines for something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was kind of he was working for the production company at the time, and he actually gave it a pass. So yeah. So luckily, I mean, somebody else read it and said, actually, let's see how this pans out. So yeah. So whenever he was a bit like, I don't understand this, and I was like, yeah, but you also didn't understand Pulp Fiction, so that, you know, that means nothing to me. So yeah. But you know, so I mean, the writing. I mean, even when I was like, I think around 17, I was writing a bit of sci-fi where it was about like astral projection and kind of wanting the freedom to go wherever I wanted to go, and have my body still in bed. It was kind of like that teenage thing where it's kind of more the sci-fi version of leaving pillows under your duvet and absconding. How about, you know? So yeah, I mean, I've always loved sci-fi, and whether it was watching it, writing it, you know, like growing up, I think it was just the idea of thinking outside of the box, of the potential, you know, what you could, the idea of innovation and invention, and having these cool gadgets. I mean, when you were watching sort of Star Trek, who knew that we would end up with mobile, you know, cell phones and smartphones? I mean, Star Trek preempted all of this, and I'm looking forward to the day when we can actually be transported from one spot to another, especially when you're running late.
That would be convenient, wouldn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I'm late. Okay, how much is this going to cost me? Right, you know, it's like, beam me up to this place. You know, you can have like little phone boxes, you know, sort of just dial the number you want to beam to. Yeah, that's it. That'll save time for anyone who is habitually late.
Yeah, people, welcome to the show. Hey all.
Hey y'all.
Yeah, that would also make it much more easier for dating, you know. You don't have to restrict yourself to being in the local area. You can
absolutely
worldwide now.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know, like, we've got planes now and things are you know, the world's a lot closer than what it used to be, but yeah, if you had teleportation, you know, and all that, it's like, oh yeah, you live in Hong Kong, no problem, I'll be there live.
When you were envisioning the story, you said it went through phases. It initially started as a screenplay for a movie, then it went to a TV series, and then it went to comic book.
Yeah.
Those are three unique ways of storytelling, and there are like restrictions and, you know, challenges in telling a story in each of those mediums.
Yeah.
Did you find yourself, as you transitioned from one to the next, like with the movie version, did you think the sky's the limit? You can throw everything you want. You can have tons of CGI effects.
Yeah.
You can, you know, do whatever the heck you wanted, and then switch to a TV series, and then go, oh wait, I have to be more concerned about budget. I'm probably going to be on a smaller scale budget and have lesser known actors, and then switching to a comic book where you've got a certain level of additional freedom because you don't have to worry about a special effects budget. You're just concerned about
absolutely.
And you can have your characters perform feats that are extraordinary that you might not be able to convey very well through CGI.
I mean, what happened with the whole, I mean, sort of, you know, you made a good point there with the whole, you know, sort of cost and budgets and things like that. What happened was, when I did write the film script, my mentor said to me, you know what, with the problem with films is that it focuses more on the world rather than sort of the character continually going on their journey. That it's more focused on that. But then he's also said that times are changing, whereby TV shows now have bigger budgets and they are attracting bigger names. So if you look at, you know, Altered Carbon or Game of Thrones, you know, they had even bigger budgets than some of the movies, because it's an ongoing series. I mean, sort of they did sort of the last few series, they kind of changed the format where they had less episodes and spent more on each episode. But you imagine the amount of work that had to go into for, like, you know, the dragons and sort of the cities, you know, especially when they were being burnt down, King's Landing, that is. So I actually changed it from film to TV shows because for a sci-fi, it's easier budget wise, and then in terms of the format, yes, there was a slight difference where, like, for instance, in a film, you have 3 acts, potentially 4 if you divide the middle act into 2A and 2B. But like in TV scripts, you have 5 acts. So it's a slightly different formula. And then when I showed the script to Timothy, he... you know, he actually, because I know now what a comic script looks like, and I actually did say to him, do you want me to turn the second act into more of a comic script? And he's like, no, actually, I liked it when you actually told the whole story, and then I could do the story, the paneling, the story beats for it. And when we changed it from a TV pilot to a comic, I mean, the best thing about it is the sky's the limit, because you can do whatever you want. You can illustrate whatever you want, and it doesn't cost any different, especially with the sci-fi. And like, you know, like when in the Screenwriters Festival, they always encourage people, don't just write, produce, make a short film, you know, get that shown at, you know, the film festivals. But with a sci-fi, it's like, you know, the budget is out of this world. So I found a comic was a great way to go to be productive, to sort of see your writing come to life. You know, so, like there is somewhat, in some ways, like there's some things which I wrote, it wouldn't translate well when it went into a comic. So we had to make slight amendments to it so that it worked for a comic medium rather than, you know, sort of where it's continuous, you know, continuous animation or like, you know, like, you know, continuous motion. So it's not a massive difference, but there are differences, and along the way you just got to roll with it and roll with it. Like you do end up with a few punches here and there, and you just have to kind of navigate your way around some of the like issues that come your way.
Commie Mark says Arthur C. Clarke invented tablet computers in 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I mean, that's the thing about it. It gives you the sci-fi. It's okay, it's science fiction. It gives you a taste of the future, and I'm all for sort of like, I love technology. I love sort of, you know, like the gadgets and all that. And we did have fun because in Eyva we have like these watches where they monitor. You know, they monitor your body functions. So, you know, if you've had too many calories that day, it will give you a warning. So it prevents you from getting overeating, or like if you've not had enough exercise, you know, it'll tell you that. If your moods, you know, if you've got some hormonal sort of issues, you know, it'll tell you like, you know, sort of it's like, you know, it's a little body monitor sort of thing. And also it tracks everything. And I think it was just kind of coming up with all sorts of ideas. And as I was writing it and doing it, and this is over the past 4 years, you know, these things were starting to come out, and I'm like, I better get this comic out because my technology is going to start today. And I'm like, okay, yeah, Sonny's doing it. All right, we've got to get a move on.
That's a good point. Yeah, with sci-fi, you want to be forward thinking.
Absolutely, yeah.
King KDI asks, who did you initially pitch this as a TV series to?
When I was actually at the Screenwriters Festival, they would do a pitch fest, and it was like speed dating. They'd have like all these producers in a room, and then every 5 minutes they'd ring the bell. So I pitched to quite a number of people, and I think one of them was Paramount, another one was Ridley Scott Free Productions. But at the time it was like, I think it was around 2015, 2016. I was pretty like inexperienced in terms of pitching, and also I didn't actually have any like visuals with me apart from like I had like a poster of what it could look like, and sort of the guy from Paramount was actually send me the script, and I didn't actually send it to him because it just wasn't ready, and I just didn't want to sort of which is really bad. I didn't want to sort of fail sort of scenario. But now I feel like because I've got more experience under my belt, if that were to happen again, oh, absolutely, just send this. I would send the script through, and plus it's it's the same thing with like Walking Dead. When you've like an audience that absolutely love it, you're more likely to have more of a successful pitch, because there is an existing audience for it. So yeah. I am actually going back to the Screenwriters Festival. It was meant to be this year, but they had to cancel it. So I'm planning on going there. So it'll probably be either September or April 2021. And I will be pitching Eyva, and also showing my comic and showing the stats on how many people have contributed. Hopefully by that time there'll be a hell of a lot more.
Right. Yeah.
I'm very grateful for what I've got now. I think absolutely brilliant. Everyone's kind of welcomed it with open arms, and can see sort of the love and passion that's been put into it, and all the time and effort. And we hope to continue on.
People says 9 curries a day.
I can see the little watch, practically exploding from the heat, That's hilarious.
Oh my God.
I do fancy a curry, but it's like in this heat,
Oh yeah, I love curry. Gosh.
Oh yeah.
I've got several of these little kits where you just get the fresh vegetables, and you've already got the curry sauce already prepared.
Yeah.
And now I'm hungry for curry.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I was watching MasterChef.
Oh my God.
Especially with the naan bread, and I was like, I need a curry right now.
Yeah.
Stat.
Have you watched the MasterChef children's version?
No.
That's
because you know why? It makes me feel solely inadequate.
It's like you got children making dishes that look like they belong in restaurants.
Oh, yeah, exactly. That would make me feel inadequate. But yeah, no. I've seen the kind of Bake Off, the Great British Bake Off with kids.
Oh yeah.
I've also seen one with the celebrities where they had Terry Hatcher, and she was like, yeah, I practiced this at home, and she was so competitive, like, she was like really on it. She was not going home with that trophy, without that trophy.
She didn't win.
No, she did. Yeah, she won in the end. I mean, the others had no chance, because this woman probably practiced it about 3 times before she went on the show. And the others were just winging it.
Oh man, that's pretty impressive that she put in the time and practice. That's really good.
Yeah.
So it's like the back of your hand. So when you ultimately, when the next festival comes around, do you say this is going to be in the UK?
Well, oh yeah, I'm gonna. I mean, I will pitch it at the Screenwriters Festival, but I also would like to do Comic-Con. You know, at the end of the day, sort of like I'm focusing on the comics industry. You know, if people want to take it on as like a TV show, that's great. You know, I think what I want to do is not only prove to myself and prove it to everyone out there that this is a great story and it has a lot of merit and will do well. And the more successful it is as a comic, the more I can just go into this pitch and kind of sell it with pure confidence and show that I've got a mass following, and you'll be absolutely stupid not to sort of do anything with it. So yeah, I mean, like for instance, Hunger Games, the first one was really good, second and third, but like that came out of one person's experience, with her, the author, her father was in the military, and she just had this concept, and look at what happened to it out of a novel. They do say, like, whenever I go to these pitch festivals, they do say you're more likely to get your work out there as a TV show or a film if you've written it as a novel or or as a comic, because you've got that market awareness. You do have a following, you already have an audience, and it gives the production companies the confidence to spend millions on the project, because they know that already they're onto a winner.
Yeah, for sure. And the on top of that, the Hollywood's out of ideas, it seems. So
oh yes, how many remakes can they make?
Yeah,
it makes me laugh.
They rely on remakes, reboots, and
and also, like, all the Disney cartoons, all the Disney animations are being turned into live action. Yeah. And I just think, I mean, I'll tell you what really annoyed me. I'm a big Jane Austen fan, and we already had an Emma back in the 90s, and that was fine as it is. So they decide to remake Emma, and I'm telling you, like, I was in there. I was like, I feel like I'm committed to watching this, whether good or bad. And then when we, and I saw it, and I was like, what's the point of remaking this? The 90s version was better. Like, I don't get why they remade this. It's like,
exactly.
And I'm just kicking myself, thinking, I'm such a sucker for I paid money to go see it at the cinema. So, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're getting the same content, just in different, visual styles.
I mean, they did. I mean, I can understand that sometimes it can be scary, like, taking a chance on something that's not well known. But, like, if you're going to do something that's a chance, don't go do, like, there was one film where it was mixed. It was a combination of zombies and Pride and Prejudice. And I'm just thinking, I saw that on the side of a bus, and I'm just thinking, what the hell were they thinking? Were they really out of ideas? I didn't even watch it, because I just thought, even the trailer of it just looked mad. I think they were trying to cater, to, like, the boyfriend and girlfriend. She wants a bit of Jane Austen, and he wants The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
How about we combine them into one film?
Yeah.
No. That's like mixing curry with an ice cream.
Oh man, yeah. Yeah. Besides all the reboots and remakes, Hollywood, because they can't seem to come up with their own stuff, they're constantly pulling from novels. novels and most recently comic books and video games.
Yes.
They've been dipping into video games on and off for quite some time, though.
Yeah. I mean, I was watching The Witcher.
The
Witcher. And I had no experience of the game whatsoever. I just thought, like, oh, this looks good. It's right up my alley. And of course, it has Henry Cavill. Who can say no to that?
Another Henry Cavill.
And then when we were watching it, it's like he does the whole So it became a bit of a. It's like, a famous meme going around, Henry Cavill dressed as, The Witcher, and it's like, Yeah.
King KDI says, if you can, get a promo video done. Warp Films are usually looking for scripts. They're up in Sheffield, so kind of close to you.
Yeah.
Sigma Films looks for stuff, but get a video if you can.
Yeah.
Warp Films and Sigma Films.
Absolutely. I did think about, like, when you go into these pitching festivals, everyone's going to sit there and just talk, and you can see the producers, their eyes kind of glaze over, when they're just staring at you, but they're just waiting for you to finish. So I thought, what I'll do is I'll do a promo video of that, and just hand them, show them, give them a little iPad, a little headset. There you go. Something, a little break from me talking to you. And if they have any questions, I'm happy to answer afterwards. So yeah, I mean, I think definitely, sort of, I am now, like, I mean, I love the fact that people do give suggestions, because that is so helpful, because sometimes there's so many there's things that just pass me by, and they're like, what, if you actually did this, you'd get more reaction, or why don't you do this, or why don't you do that, and definitely sort of doing like a promo video, especially with the comic gaining so much momentum, I can sort of really sort of sell the idea on the back of the fact that it's been sort of embraced with such a positive reaction.
For sure. And King KDI also added, but making a comic is great, as it'll be your IP.
Absolutely. I absolutely love the idea of producing this comic, because it's like, it's my own personal project. Even though like Timothy illustrated it, I was the one sort of doing the creative direction for it by discussing with him the ideas, sending him a whole load of mood boards. I mean, there was not one thing that I didn't send him loads of images, and he was like, this is great, because normally when you do have a writer, they don't give enough information, and it's left sort of to the artist to wonder how they can do it with very little information. Whereas because I come from a fashion background, and whenever we do like a collection, we do massive mood boards, and it's all visual inspiration. And I was just like pretty much feeding him, so much, like a wealth of information. And that's why we worked so well together. And I ended up getting the comic that I had in my mind.
Because you communicated. That's the way to do it.
It's all about visual communication, and it almost is like you end up talking the same language, you're on the same frequency. So, and if you go onto like my Instagram page, there are a few mood boards that I, sort of sent to Timothy, especially like her cyberpunk burlesque outfit. You can see sort of, I had a picture of Marilyn Monroe, I had a picture of Dieter Von Teese, there was some like editorial models, and it was all about like the idea of like strategically bejeweled, sort of a bejeweled costume. And I just let him get on with it, and he came back. That was basically what you see in the comic, that was his first attempt at doing a burlesque outfit, and I did not change a thing because I loved it so much.
Nice.
And it just worked really well.
Fantastic. Oh, people had to put down his ice cream.
Is that the curry flavored ice cream?
Exactly. Tommy Mark says, I gotta go, got an interview. Good luck, Annis. Catch the rest another time, WyzGyz. Thanks so much, Tommy Mark.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you. King KDI says, promo videos are better because almost everyone pitches verbally. Those
absolutely.
Have to do it 6 hours or more a day.
Yeah.
So the Witcher game is better than the TV show, which is better than the book.
Yeah. I'll have a look at the game. Actually, I'm curious. I did try to attempt Resident Evil. No, yeah, was it? No, not Resident Evil.
The Last of Us.
No, I'm just thinking. No, it wasn't Resident Evil. I'm trying to. There was one game on the PlayStation. I dropped the kids off. I was like, right, I need to take my aggression out. And yeah, because I think what was it? I had the SNES, and it was Mario Kart. So.
Oh, NES, Super NES. Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's how far I go back, And then I got tied down with being a wife and a mum. Yeah.
I actually go back further than you do.
Yeah.
I think I started with Atari Pong.
Oh yeah, we had an Atari, but a Palm. I can't remember if it was a Palm.
That's where it's like playing ping pong with.
Oh yes, we had that as well.
Yes.
I don't.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was going to say I once had. It was called the ZX Spectrum, and the game was called A Day in the Life of Clive Sinclair, and the way you load it up is like a tape recorder, and you have to wait 15 minutes for that game to load up. And the problem was if you had a loose wire and somebody like just walked past and managed to just slightly nudge that wire, that's it. The whole game crashes and you have to like load it up again.
Wow.
For the 15 minutes, and your game doesn't get saved. So that's how like that's the Flintstone version of video games.
Yeah, the Atari Pong I had was actually a standalone version. You connect directly to your TV, and it had the knobs on each side to control the paddles, so you could do 2-player. And then I went to Intellivision 1, Intellivision 2, the original NES 8-bit system, PlayStation 2, and then Atari Jaguar.
Yeah.
They're wondering if it might be Silent Hill you're thinking of?
So, no. Michael Fassbender was in it, and I'm just looking at his. That's it, Assassin's Creed.
Oh, Michael Fassbender was in Assassin's Creed, really?
Yeah, he was. He was the sort of the main guy in that.
Oh, was that the movie version?
Oh yeah, that was the movie version. Okay. I was just that's how I remember it, because he was. I do like the Fassbender.
Atari 2600 games on tape are better than CDs.
Not if you have to load them up for 15 minutes.
Holy moly!
First console I had was, bless you, you're like a spring chicken. We're really showing our age here, aren't we?
Welcome, Michael Hingart. First console I had was a PlayStation. Yan did a video going through his old PS1 games. Really? One of these days, maybe I should do a video going through various video games, because I still have my Atari Jaguar. I have my PS2. I also have PlayStation portables.
Yeah. It's good that you kept them.
Well, the one I regret not keeping is the original NES. I had the complete system with Robbie the Robot and the laser gun.
Yeah.
But I ended up giving them away to some family with like 2 or 3 kids.
Yeah.
I pretty got some use out of it. Shame and Eden Lake are Fassbender's best films.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I've not seen Eden Lake, but I know Shame, and that was really good. He is such a brilliant actor, especially when he's not so wholesome. He does like bad guy really well, to the point where you actually, the hero is so boring in comparison, and you're rooting for him.
Yeah, they say that the hero is defined by the quality of the villain.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, even any story is defined. Any story, the quality is defined by how bad your villain is. If your villain is not that great, you've got a pretty flat story. You need kind of like a whole sort of like David and Goliath scenario where you just think, ain't no chance in hell this is the hero ever gonna defeat this guy. He's just sort of beyond kind of, it's unfathomable that you could actually win, but you still want to watch it because you feel like you want to root for them, and it's kind of the triumph of overcoming something great is kind of gives you that sort of pleasure and satisfaction that it was worth a watch.
Yeah, and it becomes challenging when they decide to make the villain an anti-hero.
Oh yeah, I mean, I have to say, I mean, like everyone, when you think of anti-heroes, you think of Breaking Bad, or Better Call Saul. Sort of, I think you have to always give them what's the reason for them being so bad. It's because they've been dealt a bad hand and they're trying to sort of make the best out of a bad situation, survival, and that's that way you empathize with them, and then you've got to make the villain even more worse.
Yeah, true.
I mean, I remember Gus in Breaking Bad was like my favorite villain because it's like he was, sort of the manager of a fast food joint, and he was so well spoken, so polite. You would never think, that he was just, he was kind of like, a character that was outside the box, really refreshing. And I really enjoyed watching him on screen. And then I was really gutted when they kind of got rid of him, and I was just like, no, but you want another series, you want another. I'm just like, another season. No, you can't get rid of him like that. He has to stay till the very end.
Yes, Spectrum were cool. Mastertronic Games and Bomb Jack. Games on tape you can easily clone and share with friends.
Oh, right, yeah.
That's how we encourage the behavior nowadays.
Yes, we encourage that these days. Wink, wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Ordered Eyva too. Yeah. Definitely big on the cyberpunk thing. Blade Runner, Neuromancer, Akira, Snow Crash, Ghost in the Shell, Deus Ex, Fear Effect. Love them all.
I've done a screenshot of it because there's some that I'm not familiar with. But yeah, Neuromancer. I've been reading the novel, and I've also I got it on Audible, and it's like it's so filled with so much information that it's just like my head just explodes, and that Neuromancer pretty much, whenever I talk about the Matrix, they're like, neuromancer, because that kind of, I guess, preempt, it was before the Matrix, and it's kind of, it was one of my sort of inspirations, kind of my research. I also looked at Fahrenheit 415, I think. That was a really good point of reference, because it's in a world where everyone's like controlled. You're not allowed to read books, and then you have a faction group where they preserve books and the knowledge that's in them. Whereas, sort of in the whole new world, it's like people are medicated and they're forced to watch these programs, and it's kind of very like reminiscent of potentially like reality TV or something,
Yeah.
So, and then I think that inspired Equilibrium. And then I also looked at District 9 in terms of the way, people are divided into groups, and there's all this prejudice, towards the alien race. I did a whole lot of research to see what's already out there, and try to make sure that I had my own unique spin on things.
That's a good idea. Hey, Tatsunami, how's it going? Welcome. All right.
Hello, Tatsunami.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out what the finger means. It's like just pointing like, hello, I'm here.
At first I thought that's what it was for, but I think it might be in agreement with Michael Hinger.
Oh, in agreement. Okay, yeah, brilliant. And thank you, Michael, for sort of backing Eyva.
Absolutely, yeah. Thank you. It's definitely a worthwhile book. Even before I eventually backed as well, but even before I got you on the show, because I heard about you through Red Valkyrie.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she's a promoter that I really like a lot, and I saw you guys talking about the book, and it looks freaking awesome.
No, thank you.
When you're going to do the screenwriting pitch festival, are you going to try and pitch it specifically as a movie, or specifically as a TV series, or are you going to leave it up to their imaginations as to where they might find it most suitable?
I think because the way I've written it, it's written as a sort of a TV script. But then, at the end of the day, if they do want to change it to a film script, then that option will always be on the table. If at the end of the day, I'm not going, if they see it better as a film rather than a TV show, then that's fine. I think at the end of the day, it would be great to see it on the screen, in whatever format, because it's just seeing something come to life.
Right on. Tatsunami says hi.
Hi.
Michael says Fahrenheit 451 is a great book. Burning Chrome is a lot easier to digest from Gibson.
Is it?
Stories. Yeah. Johnny Mnemonic came from that. That was That was a fun and interesting movie, Johnny Mnemonic.
Oh yes, absolutely. I think with Johnny Mnemonic, isn't it, because they all have a disease from from sort of using too much technology or something. It's been a while, but I thought that was an interesting take on it. And the other thing.
Go ahead.
The other thing is Philip K. Dick. I remember it was many moons ago. I was an extra for a film, and to pass the time, I was sat there reading Philip K. Dick, and these sci-fi guys were like, oh, "She's reading Philip K. Dick," and it was because because I absolutely love Blade Runner, I actually wanted to see what the novel was like and how they changed the novel, you know, into the film, and it's a whole lot different, you know, and it was just a fascinating sort of study, you know, to see sort of you know, the transformation from one medium to another. Another, I think it was, I'm just trying to think, there's a film, and I was reading his work as well. Somebody mentioned it. It's a recent film. Was it The Arrival? So somebody mentioned, you know, you've got to read the short stories that were, you know, that the author wrote. And that was really interesting. I think it's, you know, like, for instance, I remember watching The Outer Limits, and I loved that. And I think that's a bit, I think, you know, Black Mirror is very sort of similar in a way to The Outer Limits, because it's all about scenarios and taking them to an extreme and creating something really thought-provoking, and just giving like a visualization of an alternate reality. And that could potentially be our future. I mean, especially with Eyva, you know, the way I went with things was, you know, because you had Cambridge Analytics and Facebook and all that, and everyone's collecting data, and you had issues with elections and, you know, sort of people being sort of like accosted through Facebook because they have particular political lean, you know, sort of political sort of how should I say, like, if they know that this person could potentially vote one way, they could try to like really get them, you know, to go out there and vote. But like, you know, it would take that to an extreme where just Facebook becomes the governing body, and we're so monitored. You know, is there a need for us to still have the police? Because we're so constantly monitored. There ain't no way you're going to get away with murder, because they're going to know where you are 24 hours of the day. And it's like, you know, you're tracked in all sorts of different ways. So it's like there is no room, there is no sort of room for having that bit of privacy, you know, because you're always watched. Would you feel comfortable with that scenario? And I guess, you know, in a post-apocalyptic world, I was thinking like, you know, the community will be like very close knit in the sense that, you know, there will be faction groups, and it's sort of each group for themselves, and they're trying to outdo each other. So they're trying to outdo each other for survival, and you lose your individuality, because what's encouraged is to work as a collective for a common cause. So if you know, it's like, you know, here we are, we want to sort of we'll go in this direction, but then you have people who are like, well, actually, you know what, I'm happy the way things are, and I'm just gonna, you know, sort of glide along. They're like, no, you've got to contribute to our cause, sort of scenario. So it kind of, you do lose your individuality in that sense. So those were the ideas that I was playing around with.
Yeah, fun little tidbit. I've seen YouTube videos where it was it's proposed that Facebook in its inception was actually designed as part of a government, not so much a government organization, but the technology was kind of used. Well, I mean, Facebook is a public company.
Yeah, with like facial recognition, and, you know, look, I mean, they do use Facebook to find criminals. You know, it's part of their investigation.
Yeah.
And you know, they are like, it's like almost, you know, what really sort of makes me uncomfortable is when you have these adverts, and they're saying, well, you know, if you send your DNA, we can trace your ancestors and all that. And I'm thinking, no, you don't want to trace my ancestors. You want to get a DNA database, and you want me to pay for it, you know. And it's I know it sounds like a conspiracy, but it just makes so much sense,
Exactly.
And also, so yeah, we are going down that route where we are going to be so heavily monitored. I mean, I live in an area where so many people have got cameras outside their houses for security, and they can actually, continually, they can record second, like the motion, somebody passes by it and the camera switches on, you can actually record. It was hilarious because I've actually also got a WhatsApp group. And the funny thing is, it's like this one woman, she was completely intoxicated while walking her dog and decided for a laugh she was going to knock this massive, it was gigantic vase, and just deliberately pushed it and just completely cracked it. And the whole, sort of all the soil and the plant just spilled all over the driveway. And when little did she know that there was like security cameras all along the front of the house. And then on the WhatsApp group, this video got sent to everyone in the community. Do we know who this is?
Yes.
It's like you've been caught. It's like...
Yeah. It's pretty crazy what they can capture.
Oh, absolutely.
It's even crazier what people are willing to do.
It's the funny thing is, she didn't realize that it's like, and you could tell just by the way she was walking that she was absolutely legless. and I think the dog was taking her for a walk.
I wouldn't doubt it. Michael added that, so collection of shorts. Johnny Mnemonic came from that no masterpiece, but it's fun and free on YouTube. And Tatsunami clarified,
yes, thank you for that. I feel enlightened today. I shall be using the emoji.
Welcome, Pale Rider. What up? For my first drink. All right.
I need a refill.
What is your beverage?
I've got water in one glass, and I've got a little bit of rosé left. So yeah, I'll get back.
Welcome, Abel Salazar. Demon Lover and Tarkovsky's Stalker are weird cyberpunk films. That's
interesting. I'm gonna screenshot that. It's like I really like when people make sort of recommendations, because it sort of increases my knowledge as well.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see. And then there was some discussion about recognizing each other. Michael says, not seen either, but need to see Stalker. Think L.A. Tarkovsky, I've seen as Andrei Rublev. Let's see. Stalker is not for everyone. It's a very idea film, but it's powerful stuff. So if you enjoy Rublev, then you might not have problems with it.
Yeah.
I like artsy and European films, but I have to be in the right mood for them. Yeah. Unless it's Nikita. I have a lot of time for that.
I can imagine.
Yeah. That's good stuff. Black Rain is good too. Not cyberpunk, but has a cyberpunk vibe.
I'll have a look at that as well.
We need more Riddick movies.
Oh, yeah.
Riddick's not bad.
No, absolutely. I really enjoyed watching, I think it was the first, there's two, right? How many are there altogether? I watched 1 and 2.
I don't remember. There's
the Chronicles of Riddick, and but like I really like the female characters in that, and they really sort of, they weren't. I think sometimes they can be over stylized, so it's like style over substance, and you just have to remember, you don't need to kind of go crazy. You just need to make sure that they're a good character. And there's something about them that's unique. I just read it. I'm just reading Pale Rider's comments about my rosé.
No. I'll catch up soon. Google, Facebook, and Amazon know almost everything about a person, even more than their employees or spouse.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I think it was like, like it really annoys me. Like for instance, I've already bought something from Amazon, and then you go onto Facebook and they're giving you ads for like something that you've already bought on Amazon, and you're just like, okay, yeah, I know you're watching me, but I've already bought it. So this little advert here is rendered useless.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. They do that a lot.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit annoying, but I think if you remember Minority Report, which I thought was really interesting, and at the same time, if it was in reality, how annoying would it be that you're walking down the street and all the billboards change according, they are kind of personalized to you, and the adverts change to suit you, and it's like, do you really want people knowing like some of the things that you go out and buy?
Oh, really? Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to know. I don't want to be telling people how much junk food I eat. Or that I ventured out to McDonald's for a sausage and egg McMuffin too many times.
Oh man, I love those. I think you'd have to add Microsoft and Apple to that too.
I mean, the thing, and now we've got the whole thing about TikTok, and it's like, and then Microsoft are going to buy. Oh yeah, that makes me feel a whole lot better. Like, what's the difference?
God. That was
and how much information can you get by 15 seconds of dancing?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, I can only imagine it's mostly going to be whatever information you provide them when you set up your account.
Yeah. I know, it's just hilarious. Like, what are we stooping to? Like, picking. It's like, oh no, they're collecting information about us. It's like, hell, who hasn't collected information about us?
Right.
I do actually have friends who refuse to go on like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, but to deliberately reduce their footprint.
Yeah.
And so I'm having to manually send posts to them. It's like, this is what you're missing out on. A little personal update.
Yeah, go back to the times of sending traditional letters in the mail. Only ever seen Pitch Black, but it's a great film. Not seen it in a while.
I think that was the one. So it's Pitch Black and the Chronicles of Riddick. Those are the ones that I've seen, and I really enjoyed those.
And then go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I mean, I'm not a big what's his name? I forgot his name now. I'm really terrible with names, by the way, as you probably have noticed. Vin Diesel. Yeah, you go. I can't do Fast and the Furious.
Oh, really?
I like cars. I do appreciate my car design. I just, I just, for me, it just looks like who's got the bigger appendage.
Oh, okay, all right, gotcha. Yeah, I hear you.
Whereas I liked him in sort of as Riddick.
Right. Yeah, I think in addition to Chronicles of Riddick, didn't they also release a movie just called Riddick all by itself?
Yeah,
and I don't know if it was
any
good or what, or considered a sequel or a prequel.
Yeah,
the case might be.
That will probably be something I would be looking into as well. So you've raised so many like flags here that I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to be doing this is all homework for me later.
Yeah, agreed. I'm always in the mood for those though, but hopefully you'll enjoy it. Actually, is online here on YouTube for free and high quality with English subs. All right. Really, only thing I could find you had to pay for. I own the Chronicles of Riddick. Comes with a cartoon as well. Oh, Pitch Black might be the best one though. Watched it last weekend.
Right.
Yeah, that was like the first one, wasn't it?
I might actually watch it again because I really, as a science fiction sort of, I really enjoyed it. No flying cars and no privacy, sadly. Oh, I know, because I'm a big Back to the Future fan. So I remember when we hit 2015, it was such a disappointment. It's like
it's like,
no
man.
hoverboard, no flying cars, no automatic lace shoes. There was so many things. I mean, yeah, fair enough. We have made some advancements that don't feature in Back to the Future. Like there's no. I think sort of they didn't feature any. Did they? I don't think they. Oh, they had wristbands, didn't they? They didn't have like smartphones. But yeah, so I'm still waiting. Maybe I'll get on the phone to Tesla and say, it's like, stop messing around with the electric cars. Can we have like flying, please?
Yeah, dedicate your resources towards flying cars.
I know, and we had like built like highways, kind of like in Total Recall. I think they had the flying highways. I thought that was like super cool. But can you imagine how much it's going to cost? And can you imagine sort of like if you've got a really bad driver, kind of the havoc it will cause? Because
unless they're on some predetermined program courses.
Oh yeah, we could go automated. So it's like a tunnel, and it's automated. You go on autopilot, so there ain't no excuse.
Yeah.
And you could be sat in the back knocking the rosé back.
Oh, I see.
Designated driver already, automated.
There you go. Every now and again, you'll see spread through social media how they try to design the self-pump, high top shoes.
Yeah.
The ones that are no lace. Shoes, and then there's also videos of them trying to make hoverboards and with mixed results. Just write in the search Tarkovsky Stalker, and it'll probably be the first thing up there.
Yeah, I've done a screenshot of that. Thank you.
Go ahead and top off that rosé. We'll wait.
Unfortunately, the bottle is downstairs.
You can momentarily do a chair stream while you go retrieve that rosé.
No, it's all right. The problem is you don't want to see me like completely. I wouldn't be able to string my words together to make a sentence.
Not so many because it's 3 films. Pitch Black.
Pitch Black.
3 Riddicks and a cartoon.
Okay.
I remember you mentioning Eon Flux, really underrated series. Yeah, that was
absolutely. I mean, I remember like I was a big fan of like MTV. I always used to love sitting there just watching like the videos, one video after another, and then just suddenly they had like Eon Flux an animated series, and I was like, just like completely mesmerized by it all. You just kind of sucked into this like surreal world, and it's just it's not a typical timeline. It's just kind of like a little moment, and it was really enjoyable. I absolutely loved it, and she kind of as a character, she was like something else. Like I'd never seen somebody who is kind of like just fierce and feisty and courageous, but also very chilled out and laid back and very kind of like, I mean, I still remember the line, "Ready for the action now, danger boy," and she's like chucking these like little bombs that turn into spiders, again, there's just so much there. It was like, and it really, I mean, I've got the collection on DVD, and I absolutely okay, when they did the film, I was really excited that they were going to do a film of it, and in my head it was like, hopefully they keep to the animation, because it's a very it's a niche market, Like, don't commercialize it so that everyone else loves it, because then you just end up watering it down. But that's what they did. They got writers who totally didn't get, the way Aeon Flux is written. It is surreal. You're better off going down the route of Black Mirror or like Charlie Brooker. Sort of the way it's just a snapshot. It was all right, but if you are a true Aeon Flux fan, it kind of like, it was a bit, you kind of felt let down by it. I mean, sort of, Charlize Theron, was like, if they wanted me to run around in a thong, I'm all for that. I mean, to be honest, she's got the body for it, and it's like, well, why not? Or like the sort of the crazy hairstyle. That is synonymous. That is synonymous with Aeon Flux. So instead, what they did was they tamed it. It's like, you could have tamed it, but still kept to, the middle parting and the curl. But it was just like a angular bob. Again, it's like, I sometimes blame the men in suits that like, oh no, too scared. They want to sort of, try to keep some realism to it. But at the end of the day, do we always want to go to the cinema and see realism? Fans of Aeon Flux and any sci-fi, we want to go and have 2 hours of escapism to something completely different. We want to escape our lives, if we wanted to have a bit of a bit more of reality, we could have just saved ourselves some money. One of the things about Eyva is, we did some development sketches where her hair, we had her hair as a ponytail. She ended up looking like Lara Croft. We had her hair down, which I really liked. And at some point you will see her hair like down and kind of like more relaxed. And then when we did sort of the whole, sort of the burlesque scene, I said to him, he told, like, basically Timothy said, when he was doing the graphics novel, he actually did like panels, and you'll see it on his DeviantArt page where he did it with the original hairstyle. And then he got told, actually, no, we want it to be like the film, where it's just an angular bob, which is short at the back and long at the front, a lot more tame. And he felt like they kind of tied his hands, and I said, you know what? Take all that frustration you felt and go knock yourself out. Do whatever hairstyle you want. You want to put Danish roll, like the Princess Leia thing, and just go knock yourself out. So she was like, she came back with this amazing hairdo. I don't know how they're going to like kind of, if it were to ever become like, sort of a real, like a show, like a TV show or a film, how they're going to do that, I don't know. But a lot of hairspray, let's just say, maybe wax or something. But it's just, it's amazing. Exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, you look at it and it's just absolutely stunning to look at. It's beautiful. There's some artistic license there. And if we wanted realism, there's, you can go watch a period drama if you like.
For sure. I was so bummed about the live action version of Aeon Flux, and I was real ticked off at the hairstyle.
And then it gave it a happy ending, and it's like, how much of this animated series have you seen?
Really. I was surprised they even took the time to replicate the scene about her catching the fly in her eyelashes.
Oh yeah. I mean, I thought that was kind of like well done, because that's kind of like her signature. It's on the front cover of the DVD collection.
Yeah.
So at least they probably sort of had a list. We need to include these little bits, sort of thing, just to sort of give it a stamp of approval by the fans.
I guess, yeah. I wish they'd remake it. I mean, I wouldn't even mind if Charlize Theron did it again, because
Yeah.
she's amazing in action movies.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think she did her own stunts, and she did sort of get injured in the process. But like, yeah, you know, definitely, maybe they should. That's one reboot I'll be, you know, happy to see.
Yeah.
Kind of like, but staying true to the essence of what Aeon Flux is, you know.
And I wish they would have still. I still wish they would have found some way to pull off the uniform for the character. That would be a trip.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the last Riddick movie had a puppy in it too.
Oh, yeah.
I can't avoid Microsoft. It's like you look at their TNCs and then try to use Linux, and they have the same TNCs, just worded differently. Yeah.
Can I just ask, who actually reads the TNCs? It's like you scroll. It's like, my God, life's too short, you know. as long as I'm not signing my life away, yeah, I'm okay.
And then you find out later that you did sign out your life away.
Then you find out you've just agreed to hand them over a specific organ, like like a kidney or something.
Yeah, and your next born, and a sample of
yeah, exactly.
And a snapshot of your retina. Let's see here. Fast and Furious doesn't interest me either. Days of Thunder is a way better car movie.
Oh, actually, yeah, I like Days of Thunder. I still listen to the soundtrack. Was it Show Me Heaven with Sophie B. Hawkins? That's how far I go. That's kind of like my guilty pleasures, listening to love ballads. Whenever people ask, I was going to say, whenever people ask me, like, you know, so what music are you? I try to say all the cool ones, but don't mention all my little guilty pleasures at the same time. Like, yeah, we'll keep that locked in a closet there. Yeah, Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Motorhead, Rolling Stones. And then the Manchester music scene, you've got like Happy Mondays and Joy Division, New Order, you know, so yeah. And then kind of the love ballads. Oh, actually, you know, one thing I didn't mention, one of the songs, I mean, I love Delphic, and there's a song called Acolyte, and it's just purely instrumental, but it really inspired the comic, especially when I was writing it. And if you get a chance, Acolyte by Delphic, you know, have a listen to it. It's really, I mean, it's kind of, it gets you going. And also, like Bon Jovi, when they did the Keep the Faith album, there was an outtake at the end of the album called Save a Prayer. And it's you won't find it on Apple, but if you YouTube Save a Prayer by Bon Jovi, it's really good. And the good thing is it's not a love ballad. It's, you know, because he did actually get a bit too lovey-dovey afterwards, you know, and I liked him from you know, what was it, Blaze of Glory, and the film.
That's cool. Yeah,
that you know, sort of where it didn't always have something to do with love, you know. So, and also, like, another film that I really love is Gattaca, and that's pretty sort of, it's got like a you know, following, and I absolutely love the soundtrack to it. I love the way the you know, they kind of reference the 1940s but set it in a futuristic world, and I love the story behind it, where, you know, he's up against, you know, he's a natural born baby, and he's up against, you know, his brother, who was a designer baby. And it's kind of like, you know, can you really sort of overcome, you know, your genetic makeup to achieve your dream? And the part where they're like having a race swimming out to sea, you know, the soundtrack to that really just, you know, I just love it, and it really inspires me when I write as well.
All right. I'm going to play a lot of catch up here.
Because I've been talking too much.
Riddick, I think it's on Amazon Prime, Amazon Prime UK. Mm-hmm. Don't watch Fast and Furious. I like Vin Diesel because he was a D&D player before it was cool. Yeah, that's a fun fact. Chronicles of Riddick's animation is titled Dark Fury, directed by Peter Chung.
Oh, right.
Oh, cool.
That's an interesting fact. I didn't know.
911 put the kibosh on flying cars. They have their space mapped out for them, though. They get anime series too. Mm. Ever seen Peter Chung's matriculated short from Animatrix?
No, I haven't, but I've just done a screenshot of it, so I've added that to my homework. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Animatrix is pretty cool. As you might already know, it's they got together like 4 animator creators to work on a project together, and everyone did a Matrix related story in their own animation style, and then they put it in a collection. Yeah, and it's available on DVD. It's probably available somewhere on the internet too. I love the Ghost in the Shell standalone complex series.
Yeah, I know there was a lot of people moaning about sort of the movie, you know.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that too. I haven't watched the movie yet. I'm kind of interested still, even though it caught a lot of flack. Now, the Max and Eon Flux were great shows. Yeah, I agree. SAC was brilliant. Loved the Laughing Man as an antagonist and how the story grows in the first series. They had Eon Flux was an okay movie, but disappointing after watching. Yeah, agreed. Oh, I love the Max. Yeah, that was trippy. I want more Galaxy Rangers. Speaking of Image cartoon adaptations, anyone remember the HBO Spawn series?
No, I don't remember that.
I don't know if I saw that.
I remember. Does anybody remember V?
Oh, V?
Where it was like these aliens where they were like reptiles and pretending to be, like they had like a human exterior.
I watched the entire series with my parents, and that freaked me out. It seriously did. It made you worried for the characters because they did such a good job. Yeah. You know, you didn't want the humans posing as them.
Yeah, it's kind of scary.
Yeah. And it made you start looking at people differently.
You start checking what color their blood is.
Yes, exactly. The Max was superb, wasn't it? Well worth a watch, yeah. You can watch the Spawn HBO series on YouTube. Honestly, thought it was better than the comics. I'm still waiting on a decent D&D movie. Yeah. Yeah, good you mentioned it. I have to rewatch the Max. The Old Guard was pretty good on Amazon. That was starring Charlize Theron, I think.
Okay.
I hear it's getting mixed reviews. Some people really like it, and some think it's just okay. Didn't read much Spawn, but love the art and character design. Do you like the 90s Spawn movie?
I don't think I don't remember seeing it. Do you remember what it was about?
Oh, if it's the one I'm thinking of, the live action one, it's I guess it's a family man who's I guess his family got killed, and for some reason he made a deal with the devil. And I think his family came back to life, but it made him a servant of the devil.
Okay.
So he goes working for the devil. Nobody did power ballads than the 80s. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Music. Honestly, cannot watch the Spawn movie without my spine crawling out of my back.
I've just Googled it and it looks really like, oh, yeah, gruesome.
Yeah. Doesn't know me saying it's bad. Guilty pleasure, I have to admit. Gattaca had a really interesting concept. Not seen it for years, but really good. I forgot about Gattaca. I'd probably have to watch it again. I don't remember it. Because, I mean, Gattaca's not the one with Halle Berry in it, is it?
No. This has got Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke, and British actor. I'm trying to think. He was in The Talented Mr. Ripley. So the reboot of Alfie. I'm trying to think. He was going out with Sienna Miller, and he was also in Existence. Let me see. Just doing that. Existence. It's correcting. It's correcting it.
Correct.
Yeah, it's also correct. Yeah. Jude Law.
Okay, all right.
I actually remember going to the cinema to seeing Existence because, I mean, when Jude Law sort of in 1999 was like really hot and like, he was really sort of, sort of a bit of a heartthrob back then. And it was interesting, to see, something that was just really surreal and sci-fi, so yeah. But yeah, in Gattaca, he played his part really well. Where he's like an Olympic winning swimmer, and he's been designed to be, sort of successful, but he couldn't accept that he got a silver, and so in the story he deliberately tries to kill himself and instead ends up in a wheelchair, and because he just couldn't accept as a designer human being, he couldn't accept failure. That it's like, how can I fail? I was, sort of designed, to win gold, and I couldn't even get killing myself right. So his cat, I found like he acted really well in that. And he lends his identity to Ethan Hawke because they look slightly similar. And in the fact that Ethan Hawke in the film, they kind of say, well, you're going to have to do something about your height, and it's like, what do you mean? And they actually had to break his limbs and reattach them so that he could actually be the same height as Jude Law. Which, it's like, how far would you go to try and beat the system? So that was like a really interesting take.
That one scene sounds very familiar. I remember seeing some movie where they broke the lower legs to make him taller. And fair enough on the Spawn movie. I might find some enjoyment in it if I'm drunk, really drunk. In my opinion, the Animatrix is better than any of the Matrix movies. I love the movies.
But have a look at that. I've not seen the Animatrix.
If you guys have like Walmarts in your area, you might be able to find a cheap DVD version of it.
Okay.
Let's see. The movie's okay. 90s Spawn movie is great. Hello, Stefani. Welcome.
Hello, Stefani.
Hello. V was an awesome series. Yeah,
I'm glad somebody else remembers that.
Yeah. So there's at least 3 of us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, great series.
We're not over the hill
yet. Yeah, I never saw HBO Spawn because it was on HBO, and I don't watch TV anymore. V, yes, alien reptiles that eat and wear human skins.
Oh, I know.
If you're gonna have a guy coming back from the dead to get revenge,
Oh, yes, absolutely. The Crow, absolutely.
That's an awesome movie. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
They actually did a sequel. I think it was direct to video, if I remember. Obviously had another actor.
No, it didn't. It didn't have the same sort of darkness, about it. And plus, the Crow and Brandon Lee synonymous with one another, sort of. I think that it was kind of they had a lot to contend with, and kudos for them for trying, but they were up against it.
Yep. Existence is awesome too.
Yeah, it's funny because the little when I was Google searching it, I remember the little joypads are like organic, like kind of the fleshy sort of thing. It looks like a fleshy version of a PlayStation joypad.
He was cool back in the day. Lol, the gun in that movie, Chicken Bones.
Oh. Sorry that I've just had a flashback. It is such a weird film, but it's worth a watch because it's just so out there.
And this is all part of this is all part of Existence.
Yeah, Existence, and it had so just looking Jennifer Jason Leigh as in it as well, Willem Dafoe. So yeah, it had a reasonably good cast.
Oh, all right, nice. But anything by David Cronenberg, I have time for.
Yeah.
It was a great show. A lot of sci-fi.
It was by David Cronenberg as well. I'm just looking at his other work, The Fly.
Oh man, that was a good movie.
Yeah.
So well done.
I mean, that was just awesome.
Yeah, that was a scary one, but yeah, it was a good movie.
I was looking at Cosmopolis. It was interesting. Okay, maybe I was a bit of a Robert Pattinson fan at the time. I was going through all the different films.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Cosmopolis. It's like he lives in a limousine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Let's see. City of Angels was awful, apparently. However, Alex Proyas did Dark City, which is also awesome, though. The Matrix took all the thunder.
Yeah.
Videodrome is a great surreal cyberpunk movie. Another Cronenberg. Videodrome. All right. So with that intro out of the way, back to Eyva.
Yeah, we went off on a slight tangent there, didn't we? Well, after 1 hour and 38 minutes. Yeah, so do you want to play the trailer?
Absolutely. Darn tune. Oops. Oh, it's using Vimeo? Can you hear the audio?
Yeah, I can.
All right, cool.
Eyva is a cyberpunk comic book series based on a love of 80s sci-fi and fantasy fiction. The story is set in the Arden Nation, an upbeat, stylized technological utopia set in the 23rd century. However, all is not what it seems. Individuality and privacy are rare commodities that only the governing elite are privileged to. So imagine, if you will, social media becoming the governing body of a surviving nation. Everything about you and what you do since the day you were born is automatically streamed onto your timeline. This is then monitored by a totalitarian regime known as Mainframe. Mainframe's prime directive is to compete for technological advancement and for survival in a post-apocalyptic world. In the spirit of fighting cyber terrorism, people of the Ardent Nation are kept on a short leash through the use of surveillance implants. The message is simple: comply with Mainframe's standard behavior protocol or be rehabilitated. It's all about working as a collective for a common cause while suppressing any scope for individual thought and self-expression. Eyva is now complete and ready for publication. It's a labour of love that's been brought to life by the epic illustrative skills of Timothy Green II. It's an extraordinary journey, one of which we hope our readers will join us on.
F.A.M.I.L.Y production.
Yeah, they're friends of mine.
Oh, all right. Right on.
No, yeah, they do videos for kind of all sorts. So I approached them and I said, would you be able to do one for my comic? Because I didn't want to just sit in front of the webcam and just go, and bore people to death. I thought maybe I'll make an effort with this one. So I've got no excuse whatsoever, not to succeed, not to meet my goal.
Right, exactly.
So yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go.
I was going to ask. So you have an illustrator. You did the story. You provided all kinds of resources to the illustrator, including what you were calling mood boards.
Yes.
Can you go
inspiration boards?
Can you go a little? Explain a little further what mood boards are?
Yeah, so basically, if you go to my Instagram page, you'll see, like, for instance, I did like a collection of images that just reflected like a particular costume or the location of a specific place. It could be like the nightclub scene. I just collected loads of imagery from the internet, especially you can use Pinterest. It's just full of ideas that you can just gather together and then, sort of put it together on on one page. I use PowerPoint. And so I did it for the costumes, I did it for the locations, I did it for the gadgets. And then I would just basically turn it into a, sort of PDF or a JPEG and just sort of email it to Timothy. And he absolutely loved it because he had so much to feed off from. It was kind of like providing the ingredients and he was basically cooking it all up. So yeah, if you connect to Eyva comic, yes, that's it. And then scroll down. Yeah, so you've got like that mood board there. Go up. You've just missed it. There's like a purple. If you click on that, that's like a mood board for the nightclub, and it's got kind of different ideas on sort of like the colors and the lighting. So like in some ways it was potentially a little bit difficult to sort of get that lighting exactly that way. So sometimes you see the background, it's a mix of blue and kind of the sort of the purplish burgundy color, or like, it'll change color, so to reflect, the changing light. And then sort of if you go further down, you'll see what I was referring to for the costume. which see, you got the implants. I even put together some implants there, and also again the cityscape next to it as well. I liked the idea of having like an implant, and then also maybe having like circuitry as well.
Yeah.
So it's almost like, you know, it's just very like going as far as I can go with it, you know, creating like a sort of that really stylized cyberpunk look to it.
Wow, that's a trip.
And yeah. So I think, yeah. The bottom, if you go all the way down, you'll see like a photo. That was the novel cover.
This one here?
Yeah, that one was the original novel cover. And then I sent that to Timothy, and that's how he came up with the idea for the sort of the hot mess hairdo. And
wow.
then so that's kind of illustrated from a photograph, and then the implant was added on top, and the idea is that it kind of it flashes, you know, it changes color, or like, you know, sort of flashes, you know, those things like that.
Nice.
If you scroll up, I think you might miss the one with the burlesque outfits, because, you know, so that was one of my favorite boards.
Is it this one?
You can no. So that was the sketch for the art print that I'm doing.
Oh, right.
And then there's some character sketches, location sketches. Oh yes, it's there, that one there. So I would, you know, to come up with the idea for the burlesque outfit, I sent him all these images that were put together on one page on PowerPoint. So you've got like Dita Von Teese, Marilyn Monroe, Jennifer Lopez, and they've all kind of worn something along those lines. And, you know, I just sort of said, you know, knock yourself out. And he did such a great job that I said, you know, you could consider an alternate career in designing burlesque costumes here.
Really?
I think, you know, because I, you know, like at the end of the day, you know, some people may think it's, you know, am I objectifying women? No, I'm not. I'm actually celebrating the female figure, and, you know, pretty much putting it up on a pedestal, you know, because, you know, it's about being comfortable in your own skin and being sensual, and it's for me, burlesque is an art form in itself, and, you know, I absolutely love it, big fan of it. And I thought, you know, it'd be so cool to do cyberpunk burlesque. You know, there's a cocktail for you.
I could be wrong, but if I'm not mistaken, I think this is Martina Markota here.
No, I think that's Dita Von Teese.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. She's only like 5'3", which is amazing, because normally you need like somebody who's like at least, you know, 5'9" to sort of, you know, pull off being a statuesque figure. But like, you know, she's just, you know, the way she poses herself, it's just, I find it fascinating. Yeah,
she's a pro. Yeah, I think it was mentioned on Shay's stream that you might want to connect with Martina Markota if you haven't already. And she also goes over crowdfunded books too. So
okay, yeah,
free to be on her show.
So it's what's Martina?
Yeah, Martina Markota. She's actually got a book of her own called Lady Alchemy.
Okay.
And it's based off her career in burlesque.
Okay.
She's had a long career in burlesque.
Yeah.
So
I'll definitely have a look at that.
Yeah, for sure. Man, this is so cool. And
Thank you.
I was looking at the. Let me also find out if I missed anything. Anything in the chat, maybe. Uh, Video crew. So King is asking, Annis, this is fulfilling this month, right?
Yeah, so I'm currently sort of sorting out all the merchandise, and the lettering the comic's been relettered, and the files arrived just yesterday. So it's going to go to print. It only takes about a week to get all the printed copies. So I've got, I'm printing about, I'm just having a look how many I'm doing. I'm printing about, 300 comics and 100 variants. And yeah, they're all going to be sent out by the end of the month at the latest.
Wow.
And the campaign is staying on in demand for as long as there's interest out there.
Cool.
Because it automatically, if it's stayed inactive for 6 months, then sort of that's when it gets automatically shut down. I don't think I don't think sort of there's any issues for now. What I will say is, I think sort of maybe around September time, the tiers and all the shipping costs, because at the moment the cost is very low, and it's kind of like an introductory offer, and that they're all going to be changed to reflect the true costs and everything. So yeah.
Right.
But the other thing I was going to say about Timothy, he's worked for the likes of Marvel, and he actually worked on Star-Lord, sort of prior to Guardians of the Galaxy, and sort of he also basically got a credit for on the sort of at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy, it says with special thanks to Marvel Studios, and it got everyone listed, and he was on the same line as Stan Lee, and I thought that was just amazing.
Oh, man.
He didn't even know that was happening when he went to see it in the cinema. He was, one of his friends pointed out, "Oh, look, your name's up there." It's like, whoa.
Seriously.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
But he's gone independent because I think he likes to sing to his own tune, which I really respect. And some of the things, like for instance, pacing. For him, we were talking about pacing in Eyva, and he was saying, like for Marvel, they sometimes jump, and it could be 1 second, it could be brushing their teeth, and then the next second you're in full fight mode. And I was like, yeah, you can slow it down, because that's just a bit too fast for my liking. And that's why we ended up with a 28-page comic rather than a 22, because we did, the pace was sort of a little bit slow at the beginning, and I thought, well, if we carry on this slow, then we're going to end up with like 100-page first edition, first issue, 100 pages, yeah. So we speeded it up, but then I just thought, what, just keep what we've got. And it's nice as a first introductory read into the world of Eyva that you've got that little bit, that extra 6 pages to get your teeth into. And I've priced it as a 22-page comic, because at the end of the day, there's not that much in it in terms of, sort of into the cost. So, I think I've done my best to really look after, the backers and the contributors, and really give them, value for money. Because, at the end of the day, I just, it's my way of showing how much I appreciate the support.
Mm-hmm. Michael uses Pinterest too, but Christ, it's overwhelming when you're looking for ideas.
I know. I think sort of, I tend to, it's true. You just, you know, like I'm sometimes get really specific with my on the search engine, and that kind of helps narrow things down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what I do is I'll even like some, you know, like if you go on the homepage, it will like show you things that are related to your little folders that you've kept.
Oh, right.
Yeah, which is really, it's kind of like, it's really good in that sense. But yeah, it can be overwhelming, but I think if you stick at it, it's, you know, it's kind of, also, I think if you, for instance, when I was gathering loads of images, you know, I didn't end up using everything. I think you leave it in a folder, and then once you come back to it, you can just pick out the 5 best ones that you like, or that work really well together on a page, that kind of say different things, rather than, you know, avoid having repetitive imagery. You know, like, you know, if you've got 2 images that look very similar, you don't need one of them, so just take out the weaker one. So you've got more of a clearer message in terms of what creative direction you want to go with.
So sometimes when you're making up these mood boards,
mm-hmm.
since you have a background in doing fashion design,
yeah,
illustration, do you sometimes include some of your own pieces to, you know, try and nail down a specific facial expression or a pose?
Like for instance, when we were discussing like the clothing, so I would just do like sketches, or like I'll actually use Timothy's template as a sketch. Like I said, I always struggled with like figurines. I think it's to do with me being a perfectionist. You know, I can if you put like a model in front of me, I can do brilliant life drawings. But then when it comes to illustration, I sometimes, it's like I choke. But then, you know, when I was working with Timothy doing the costumes, and you know, I was really like, I would actually use his as his illustration as a starting point, and then I would do my own design and say, actually, this is what I'm, you know, looking for more, because it was very hard to describe. It's like, for instance, her motorbike. You know, when we first talked about it, you know, I was describing, you know, like Tron, and there's motorbikes in that, but like he went a bit too heavy on the masculine side, and it was kind of a bit more like a Harley Davidson. So I just said, no, actually, you know, I kind of like drew it sort of, you know, based on some of the ideas that he came up with. So it's almost like the wheels are supposed to basically go through the cylinder, you know, so it's kind of like they're almost hovering. So we're going back to the hover. It's a hover bike. How realistic it is, I'm pretty sure it's not that, you know, sort of realistic, but we were kind of, you know, away with the fairies on that one. And then even the
design?
Actually, this image that you've just brought up, that was me. I did that on Illustrator. So I did that. That was my sketch. So yeah.
So is there another version of the bike in this collection here?
You will see it in the comic.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. I don't want to give too much, so at least when you open your pack, at least you have something, you know, sort of something you've not seen before. I think you know, absolutely, yeah, because it can be so tempting to like just show everything, and then it's like when you get it, it's like you feel like you've pretty much seen it before.
Right, like when you have a movie trailer that has all the good parts in it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like my brother refuses to watch the trailers because he's like, all they've done is put all the good parts in the trailer, and you've got nothing left when you actually go to see it, you know. So he refuses to see the trailer.
Oh yeah.
He goes in blind.
Madanui says, "Man, I'm late." No, you're good. You're good. We went on a number of tangents, so you're good. Michael says maybe I should do this instead. Yeah, the part of making mood boards, I believe.
I've started a whole mood board revolution.
Meta barons, but less intrusive than Warhammer 40k implants. The Meta barons is amazing. Rest in peace, Juan Jimenez. Of course, anything from the Jodoverse, the Incal series, but yet to read the Techno Priests. Not cyberpunk, but very cyberpunk vibes. Speaking of Mobius, too, The Long Tomorrow, The Birth of Cyberpunk. Excellent reads. And let's see. Good. Thanks for sharing the links in the chat, guys. Are you a fan of Jason Brooks?
I'm just having a look at Jason Brooks now because I'm
British fashion illustrator, best known for the Head Candy compilations.
Oh, right. Yes.
Head Candy.
Yes, I'm familiar with it. Jason Brooks. Yeah. No, I like his work. I've got a collection of like fashion illustrators.
Nice. Yeah, Michael knows a whole lot of stuff for sure.
Trying to find the one that I really like. I think it's just...
Were you looking for something specific?
Yeah, there's one in particular, sort of a modern day one, and I've got her work in one of my boxes, and I've just completely forgotten. I think it's Julia something, and I've forgotten her last name.
Okay.
Julia Van Oven. That's it.
That sounds so familiar.
Julia, yeah, Van.
Van Oven or Orden or.
I'm just looking for it now.
Oops.
Yeah, Julie Verhoeven. It's a Verhoeven. So Julia Verhoeven. I mean, I find her work just amazing.
Huh. Wow. All kinds of stuff. Oh, interesting.
So so shall I go through the tiers of what you can get?
Let me check something here.
Respect.
Excuse me. He's done 3 books. London, Paris, and New York are all fantastic collections of his work. Going to look at Julia. Yeah.
Yes, Julie Verhoeven.
Man. So your illustrator, he did all the architecture and everything too?
Yes, he did. He did all that through. He didn't use software for it. It was all hand drawn using perspective drawing. So, the way an architect would draw. He's very talented. I can't say enough good things about him.
Yeah, it looks like 2D perspective.
Yeah, I think I went through, is it Shutterstock or iStock Photos?
Oh, okay.
And you can get like sci-fi landscapes and so like futuristic cityscapes. And I found one that I really liked, so I bought it and I just used it as I was messing around with creating my own video, and I used it as the background for the novel cover. And then what I did was I sort of sent it to Timothy, and I said, this is pretty much what I'm looking for. But, I also sent him a mood board as well. So, yeah, there was never a shortage of imagery when it came to me.
Yeah, you had a lot to draw from. That's cool. Really interesting stuff. She reminds me of someone kind of expressionistic.
Yeah, I think that's what I like about it. She's very expressionist.
Man, I just love the hair.
Oh, I know. She's like a cyber Medusa,
Yeah. I just can't help but wonder, is her hair fluid? Does it move? Is it constantly in motion, or is it without spoilers?
Well, I was thinking about that actually, and I think it's probably pretty set in its place,
Wow.
Unless, or I don't know. I mean, sort of, I've not done cosplay, but like I know she basically sprayed her hair into place, and it was like a job and a half. She said next time I'll try wax, to see whether I can get it like sitting right. It's like sculptured. Yeah, it is a sculpture of art. That.
Gosh, yeah. I mean, I can't imagine how challenging it would be to look at it from different angles and get it down. That's really cool.
I mean, when you have a comic, it's like the world, sort of you can do whatever you like, so why hold back?
Yeah. And this was this done by your illustrator too?
Yes, it was. Yes. So that was one of the first character development sketches that he did. And I loved it so much that I said, actually, I'm just happy to have that on the front cover. He was more used to like the idea of taking one of the panels and blowing it up to create the front cover, whereas I was more like, in keeping to sort of the idea that, it's it's the first kind of comic, and you when you look at her, you see what it's about. Female lead, it's all about the implants. You've got like the city behind her, she's up against this world, and so it kind of like, it was like almost like a portrait, a very classical portrait. So I think it's my art background, because I studied art at school, did the history of art, and I've always been into the pre-Raphaelites as well, and sort of that was kind of, that's why in a way, I've come from a different background, and in a sense kind of coming up with my own take on comic books. Let's hope people are, kind of are okay with that,
Oh, I'm sure everyone's gonna love it. King says nanobots keep them in place.
I know. What I did was I thought, what, it'd be great to have nanobots, but then it's all about, the cranial nerves and all that. And I was like, how about we call them neurobots? So, I don't think it's being used before, but, it's just not a kind of something a bit more refreshing than nanobots.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's the book's been subsidized partially by yourself to cover the cost of illustration.
Yeah.
Target of £12. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, so what happened was I just set the target of £4,000, and I thought what will be. And then, I got such a good response for the comic that I just thought, what, instead of, paying myself back, for the money that I put into it, into paying Timothy, I thought I'll just, take that money and just start working on issue 2. because I've found so much joy in this that I think, why not? You know, if I can do it, let's do it. And so yeah, so pretty much whatever I have left over after printing out the, you know, the merchandise and the comics, then, you know, sort of the remainder will be basically starting work on issue 2. So yeah.
Nice. And I think you were trying to touch on it previously, but as we discussed earlier, this originally started as a screenplay for a movie, then it transitioned to a screenplay for a TV series, and then it transitioned into a comic book. And now that it's a comic book, how many issues do you anticipate the story being?
It can potentially be a really long series. I can't really put a number down, but I definitely want to at least sort of get a graphic novel out there. I mean, maybe 3 graphic novels, you know, sort of, so have like a really nice complete series, and then maybe think about, you know, sort of maybe a spin-off from it. But that's kind of like a long-term plan. But yeah, there is enough material to keep me going.
Nice. And then you have a stretch goal of 10,000 pounds set.
So that's how much. Yeah, I think it was just because they were, you know, when you like sort of research other people's campaigns, they're like, oh, you know, put a stretch goal. I said, well, you know, fair enough. You know, if I can hit 10 grand, that's pretty much the second issue paid off, you know. So that's where I was going with that.
Absolutely. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this. You're at 77.20 for 285 backers.
Yeah.
Is this your very, very first campaign? In other words, you didn't happen to have done this campaign on Kickstarter first before coming to Indiegogo?
No. This was definitely, it is. Yeah, no. So this was my first ever campaign. And originally I was going to go on Kickstarter. And then Timothy said to me, actually, don't go on Kickstarter. There's a new one called Indiegogo. And it seems like most people have now shifted towards Indiegogo. So I was like, so it was like literally at the 11th hour, I just moved from one website to another. And, you know, there's been mixed advice where some people are like, actually, you know, why don't you do another campaign? Like, so you've got 2 simultaneous campaigns where one's on Kickstarter and one's on Indiegogo, because there's, you know, 2 different kinds of thoughts about it. Others are like, no, you know, Indiegogo all the way. You know, they're so puritanical, you know, about, you know, just Indiegogo. We'll see. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm like sort of willing to try sort of different formulas and see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I even tried sort of advertising on Facebook and Instagram, and I you know, it kind of, it wasn't really that effective, so I don't recommend it. I think the best way, you know, you can, you know, sort of get people to back you is kind of doing these shows and also interacting with other comic creatives as well, you know, appreciating other people's work as well, and building a, you know, sort of being a part of, you know, a growing community of, you know, indie creators. So yeah, and you know, it's been a really pleasant surprise. I didn't realize it was this big, and I feel like I'm now a part of the family. So yippee.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. ComicsGate is an organic movement, more or less derived from the fact that the big 2, Marvel and DC, were starting to crap on the fans and put out agenda and political based garbage in their comic books, destroying classic characters that we grew up and loved, and turning them upside down and releasing garbage characters in their place. So there was initially it was the goal was, let's provide constructive feedback to Marvel and DC, saying, hey, we don't like the direction you're going in. This is totally wrong. But once it became clear that Marvel and DC weren't listening to the fandom, it came to the decision of, all right, we'll start making our own books. We'll start making our own books, the kind of stuff that we enjoy, the stuff we grew up on. And that's why I love this community so much, because people are so very supportive. And what we've come to find is Indiegogo for the longest time was more into doing business and making money. So they were they've for the most part been, in what's the term? They make it a point not to take sides, and they've been very ComicsGate friendly, because they're all about making money, which is your goal when you've got a business. Kickstarter used to be the way to go because they were the big game in town, but they started becoming opinionated. They had an agenda of their own. They thought they could gatekeep. So they kind of drew a lot of creators away, drove them away, and sent them to Indiegogo. So yeah, I'm among those who is Indiegogo all the way. Nowadays. So when did you actually launch? When did you officially start your funding?
It was the 28th of July. I think it was, was it June? So it was, no, actually, sorry. It was May, end of May, actually. And then the campaign ended at the end of July.
All right. So
I went for the 60 days.
Oh, you did a single 60 days of funding?
Yeah. And then what I got a little tip. This is from Commie Mark. He said to me, you know what you should have done? He's like, you should have done 30 days. So you get your big, your kind of introductory boost, and then towards the end, you get another boost.
Yep.
And then what you could have done was just once you've had your last few days boost, you can increase, to 60, another 30 days.
Yep.
So you get another set of boosts potentially. So I was like, actually, yeah, that's a good idea. I will do that next time.
Yeah, that tends to be the trend nowadays, to make the most of it. And the faster you get funded, the better, because you get additional promotion from Indiegogo, because they put your title in the bottom section of featured.
Yeah.
And you get extra promotion. King asks, can I make a suggestion for future campaigns? Increase your price by a couple of pounds across each tier. £5 digital copy will be fine, Annis.
I will be September, the prices are going to go up. So I just thought I'd give everyone fair warning.
Yeah.
Get it now before I realize how low my costs are. Actually, I am aware that they are really low, but I just thought, just keep them the way they are, and then things will be different in September. So.
Right. Yeah, that's something you don't want to screw yourself over and not have enough money to fulfill.
No, there is. I mean, just to let everyone know, there is more than enough money to fulfill. So I've already ordered the drawstring bags, which I was doing mock-ups. I was doing mock-ups today because I couldn't decide how big to make it. So I had to print one out and find a drawstring bag somewhere, and this is how big it got. So because I did do a smaller one and it didn't have the same oomph.
All right.
So that's and
Ooh, that's pretty.
yeah, we did it male friendly, well, unisex friendly, because I wanted it like natural, with a black print, but then the guys weren't happy with that, so I had to go black bag with white print.
When you say natural, do you mean like beige?
Yeah, kind of like natural cotton color.
All right.
Yeah, and then I realized they also can do it in blue, kind of, and I thought, okay, right, calm down. We're just sticking with one color. It was a similar blue to the sky on the cover, and I was like, okay, it's well, one step at a time. And then when I was watching your earlier show, and you're like so into your t-shirts, I was like, I should have done the t-shirts, but I probably September, I will probably think about introducing some other new little kind of treats.
That'll be sweet.
Because I would love to have it. I mean, I did originally have the phone case, but it was one of those that were a bit too tricky. But I think with t-shirts, people would be more inclined to go for a t-shirt.
Yeah. I mean, I think t-shirts are very popular.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I need to do it in a way that appeals to both the sexes, because I know sort of men want their sort of more masculine sort of styled, so I'll just have to sort of I have to do some market testing.
Well, they're gonna want good-looking women on it.
Oh yeah, so. I think they're happy with a sort of a burlesque dancer on the front of their t-shirt.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, a sci-fi burlesque dancer.
Absolutely, yes.
And what I was told by female friends of mine is that when it comes to shirts, oftentimes any image you decide to print, custom image you print, should be in the top portion of the shirt. Yeah. Because of the chest, obviously. Because if you put it too low, then the image looks weird. It's so that's something else, at least for the women's sizing. But let me see, what else do we have here? Tatsu agrees with King's suggestion on increasing the prices. Door salesman. I saw your Facebook ad, but when I tried it, it didn't work for me either.
Oh, did it not? Okay. So the link didn't work. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I shall be emailing Facebook for a refund.
Exactly. Yeah. If they're not doing their job, then.
No. I mean, I had so many issues with Facebook's bots, because it's like, sorry, we've rejected your ad because there's too much skin, it's too suggestive. And I censored it so you couldn't see sort of so much, and I put censored by Facebook, just to get people to click on it, just so they can see what the uncensored image looks like. And then when it was like and then when I was writing the text along with it, I mentioned that this is a corrupt senator and all that, and because I used the word senator, that got basically that was another stumbling block instead of bot. Yes, the bots got me on that. They're like, we can't advertise your go ahead with your ad because you're potentially influencing an election. And I was like, what election? One in the 23rd century? I mean, are you seriously mad? We've lost the plot here.
Oh my god!
I just sat there chuckling to myself, and it wasn't like a regular chuckle. It was kind of like a chuckle where I was slightly going to go insane. Trying to fight these bots,
Yeah, that must have been a pain.
To my boyfriend, I was saying, I'm advertising, but I'm not getting, it's not translating into people actually backing the campaign. He's like, the only thing good about Facebook ads is that they're just making money for Facebook. That's it. it's not actually, an effective way, to get the word out there. So yeah, it was, I knew it was a bit of a long shot, but I just thought, let me try it and just see like how bad this is.
See how bad.
And it was bad.
You already anticipated it would be bad.
Save your pennies. Do not advertise on Facebook and Instagram. It's just, I think most effective way that I managed to, like the most effective way is get followers, follow other people that have a similar interest in comics. And they follow you back, and then all of a sudden it's just like more and more people find you that way. And yeah, I mean, that was over sort of like on Instagram, because I just typed in #indie comics and then just followed every person, like I had a look at their like profile and sort of and they were indie creators. So I just followed them and they followed me back. I'm telling you, in 1 week, I got 200 followers, which completely blew Facebook and Instagram ads out of the water, because with them, I hardly got it was hardly a ripple.
One of the things about indie comic creation is you want to build a following, like you said. And that reminds me. Do you have a Facebook? I mean, do you have a YouTube channel?
I do, but it's just got the trailer on it. So I think sort of Comic Mark was like, it was a really good show. Have you thought about doing your own YouTube channel? And I was like, I have thought about it, but it's just like, it's like, I'm already like, imagine, I've got a massive plate and it's overflowing at the moment. So, but like, I think I'm open. I'm open to the idea. Because I mean, one thing I love talking about is, I binge watch Netflix, and I sort of want all the sci-fi stuff out there. And I thought maybe I could do sort of chats on reviewing stuff we've seen on sci-fi stuff that we've seen, and just having like a fan chat about it.
That would be a cool one. I think people would enjoy that. Yeah, for sure.
Because I feel like with the comics, I think I don't feel like I know enough about the comics, because it's still new to me. And I mean, maybe I could sort of have people over to talk about their work and everything. But like, if you want me to just, sort of to do my, my verbal diarrhea, I can talk about sci-fi all day long till I'm blue in the face,
Oh, that just means you have tons of content waiting to be tapped.
Absolutely. Maybe I'll start off with, a nostalgic walk down memory lane and review all those 80s sci-fi shows that we used to watch as kids, so it could do like V and
Sure.
Yeah. Battlestar Galactica.
Oh yeah. I like the OG Battlestar Galactica for sure.
Yeah.
As we were kind of touching on, King also.
Yeah, it was last week in May. Sorry. Yeah. I because I work from home, I have no sense of time. Yeah. I sometimes even do not know what day of the week it is, because
I've been there. Do 30 days then extend?
Yes, absolutely.
And then we got that clarified. Yep.
Yeah.
So we concluded that Anna's
election interference. Yes, my comic is going to affect the 23rd century election.
Exactly. So we got to look out for you.
I'm a bit of a Nostradamus.
Yes, the truth comes out.
Absolutely. Let me polish my crystal ball.
Welcome, Kino Subway. Good to have you. Kincaid yet. Build networks, yeah, absolutely. Can't timeless. Build networks with the indie comics community, yeah.
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely. I think sort of, like I've met some brilliant artists, and I remember like when I was looking for my illustrator, it was such a difficult task because it's not something where you can just easily Google it and then you get somebody that you can just sort of straight away work with. And then it was only until sort of I got into the community that there's so many artists out there, just definitely it's the best way forward to do your networking. And through it, I've ended up backing other people's comics, and it's just been such a like you grow as a person, meeting other creatives and appreciating other people's works and supporting others, because it's kind of like a two-way street sort of thing. So
yeah, that's why I'm so passionate about promoting books. I honestly didn't hear about your book until literally recently.
Yeah.
And I don't know how yours was under the radar for so long.
I think I was going to say I was getting a lot of criticism saying I'm not sort of promoting the book enough, and then now it's like I've been asked on so many shows, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'm happy to chat away. Yeah, so yeah.
I'm glad you did, because had we connected sooner, we could have. Well, we still have the opportunity to keep pushing it.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Because I definitely want to see this succeed and see the rest of the story unfold through the successive issues. Because this is a really, really cool book.
Thank you.
Let's see. So, 720. Let me see.
I think if you refresh the page, sort of, I think I've got more backers.
Yeah, you went from 285 to 294.
Yeah.
So you're at 78.
Thank you, everyone.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Definitely back this book. It's a freaking amazing looking book here. And so checking out the tiers here, we've got the Eyva original and variant. So you got two different covers.
Yep. So I did the original, and then I got a lot of requests for me to do the variant. And so, they were like, yeah, so I've now done it as a bundle. And as well, you can have the other bundles, and then the variant can be an add-on at a discounted price.
Oh, nice. I'm glad you're taking advantage of Indiegogo's add-on feature.
Yeah.
Not
it makes it a whole lot easier, so that I don't have to basically redo every tier. And plus, I think I did originally do one where it was for existing backers, so to give the people who've already contributed a chance to get the variant. But then, that was for a limited time only, I think.
Nice. And then the next one is the Eyva Comic Digital download, £2.
Yeah. And that will be apparently changed to £5. If anybody has a go at me, why am I charging £5? It's like, because I was told to do so.
Yeah, I mean, with this quality of work, you should be charging more.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting a slap on my wrist. Like, why are you undervaluing your work? It's an introductory offer.
Yeah, I mean, people understand that, but at the same time, they don't want it to be at a risk of you're not fulfilling. So,
no, there is absolutely no risk whatsoever there. Everything is being fulfilled. So, What I was going to say, another issue is something that you mentioned in your earlier show, is the UK shipping is always an issue. So, you know, at the moment the shipping costs are low. I don't know sort of how I got them off the internet, but the problem is I was doing it for a letter and not a parcel, and so I might get caught out there, but it's fine. Like everything, you know, like I'm gonna just stick with what I've put on, and then sort of next month everything will be adjusted. So take advantage while you can for the next few weeks.
Limited time.
Before I have a reality check.
Tell them the king said to charge more.
Yes, that's what I will say. The king told me to charge more. It's all his fault. If you have any issues, please contact him.
Exactly.
Please have a moan at him. Troll him, not me.
But you know, it's all coming from a place of love, because we want to see you succeed, and we don't want you encountering any stumbling blocks in creating and fulfilling this passion project.
No, I'm lucky that, you know, I've got other means to put let's just say to put food on the table. So this I can, you know, like it's got good foundations, let's just say. So, you know, I really want to see it continue,
sure.
because you know, if I can do this full time instead of my fashion, yeah, I can buy to fashion, you know, straight away without even looking back, because, you know, I've had so much fun doing this. It's been so fulfilling from a creative point, you know, and so I definitely want to continue on.
Heck yeah. So you got the Eyva printed comic printed copy, so that's the original cover.
Yeah.
And then you've got the comic and the digital bundle combined. Wait, huh? Hold on.
Yeah, I've just taken £1 off.
Dang. What the? Yes. Man.
Am I going to get another slap on my wrist? I can see it coming.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you thinking?
It's like, what the heck? What the heck?
Yeah,
this is too cheap. This is too cheap.
Well, can I just say, I did want it a little bit more, but like, no, but the thing is, I have seen other people's campaigns, and some of them do charge similar prices. Okay. No, definitely. It will be changed next month. Do not worry. Okay.
I totally understand, you know, being a new creator, you are still making a name for yourself. You're still getting your name out there. You want something to draw in the curious customers. You want to lower the price. I understand that.
Yeah. No,
at the same time, you can't sacrifice the need for covering all your expenses. And as another creator on my show previously pointed out, you also have to consider how much your time costs, because like it or not, you are dedicating your time, blood, sweat, and tears to create this as well. So you have to respect how much your time is worth, because it's valuable.
Absolutely. What I was going to say was, I mean, part of, you know, so when I relaunch the tiers next month, you know, definitely the prices are going to go up, but, you know, the reasoning behind it will be because basically we need to make sure that we're making money to get the second issue produced, you know, because, you know, it needs to be paid for, and I can't keep subsidizing it. So, you know, this, like I said, this was just all an introductory sort of, it was kind of like an experiment just to see sort of how people react to it. If it's, they don't have an excuse to say, oh, it's too expensive,
True. True.
So and it's good. I found people who like it, and at the end of the day, sort of fingers crossed it will sort of continue on, and like definitely prices will be raised, and it will be to get issue 2 made, and I'm sure people will be appreciative of that.
Yeah, absolutely. King says, we don't want our independent creators not being able to make a decent amount of money. More money you make, the more projects you'll do. Also use Media Mail for shipping internationally.
Okay, I'll have a look into that.
I could be wrong, but I think Media Mail is Media M-A-I-L.
Okay.
M-A-L-E.
The other thing I was looking at is having the comic printed and distributed also in the US, so that way we can sort of counteract the issue with shipping costs.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like in the pipeline as well.
Speaking of which, that's one of the big things I think creators are starting to look at seriously, where you have key printers, publishers, distributors in the U.S. and key the same in equivalent in the UK and other countries, so that you farm out the digital book to both sites, and then they print them locally and ship locally.
Yeah.
And one person who I think you'll find is very helpful to reach out to is John Malin. He does the book Graveyard Shift.
Okay.
Jon, last name Malin. He's a big CG promoter, but he's got his own book, and he's looking into doing publishing for himself as well as other creators.
Yeah.
So definitely for printing in the States, he's a good go-to person to check out. I think his price list might be available via Twitter, which is at John Malin, no spaces.
Yeah.
So then you've got the exclusive variant bundle, which is the book. And let me see.
Yeah, no, so that's yeah. So you just I think variable. So it's just the exclusive, the variant cover and the digital download.
Yep.
Of the one with the variant cover, basically.
Yep. Next one is the Eyva comic bundle and postcard. Oh crap!
Have you gone and bought something? Yeah. So I've been working on artwork placement. So that's kind of like one of the postcards. There's the other one. So, and then I've got.
Oh, hold on. You were showing them on your screen?
All right. Okay. Hold on. Let me just pull it out from my printer. Oh. So I was just working on the placements. So
wow.
There's that one, and that's the other one there.
Oh dang! How cool.
So there's also this one here. That's a whole page on a postcard.
Oh my God! Wow.
And there's also this one, but I'm just, because you can see that the sound effects is a bit too close to the edge. So I'm just having to move the sound effects so it's not so close there. So then also I've been working on an art print, which I'm sending out because I love it so much.
Whoa.
So yeah.
What is the size on that? The art print.
The art print is A4.
A4. Okay.
So that's like It's kind of like similar to a letter, slightly. Just trying to think. So width-wise, it's about 21 centimeters. 21 centimeters. Lengthwise, it's about 29.
All right.
One thing a lot of people said to me were like, we can't see the postcards. I was like, yeah, I appreciate that. What I'm going to do is do an update where you get to see, where you get to see the postcards a bit more up close and personal. Yeah.
Oh.
So that's on paper at the moment, because I was just testing out sort of how it looks once it's cut. Because unfortunately, I have to expand. Like some of the artwork gets cut off. So there's that one again, and then there's that one.
Nice.
And I use them as like bookmarks. And that's a whole page on a little postcard.
Oh my gosh.
So they're like almost like little mini art prints, I know Shay's really keen on this one. So she's going to put it between like kind of floating glass frame sort of scenario.
Yeah, she did some lots of pieces.
Yeah, so Sue's looking forward to that one. The art prints, I'm sending those out. They didn't cost that much, to be honest. So I just thought I'd send it out to everyone who backed it, and also I'm going to do some like desktop wallpapers. So really high res imagery that you can use as a wallpaper. So
Okay. Nice.
Then there's down there, that's the retailer's bundle. So you can get 4 comics for the price of 5. So if there is an issue with shipping, you can, get together with your friends and sort of just get like 5 comics and just, and share the shipping.
Oh, yeah.
As well, I have had sort of a couple of indie comic retailers who contacted me and said, can you do this tier for them? And so now I've got 7 who've claimed it, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And it makes for a wonderful Christmas present.
There you go.
or a birthday present,
Absolutely,
It's like your own piece of affordable art, contemporary art.
That's pretty trippy. Yeah. I like when creators provide a bundle.
Mm-hmm.
When they provide a retailer's bundle. Mm-hmm. I'm honestly surprised that they're not as popular as I thought they would be.
Yeah.
Because, with the state of the comic books industry seeming to be crumbling down, you think they try just about anything, but I don't know. I guess they want to drown with the ship or something. But I like seeing bundle deals, and that is a good workaround for those concerned about shipping.
Yeah. And then the behind the scenes is basically, it's called Eyva Evolution, behind the panels. And what it is I put sketches and like pencil sketches, and also a timeline of the emails that went back and forth in developing the artwork. Ooh. And it was really interesting to see, that first email that I sent Timothy through DeviantArt. And he sent the sketches and kind of the evolution of the ideas, as where it started from, and then how it ended up, sort of on the page in the comic. So it's not sort of every email; it's only the ones that sort of we talked development and there's sketches to go with them. And then I also included the first 4 pages in pencil sketch form and in ink form, and then afterwards you'll see a 16-page TV script, which Timothy worked from, and you'll notice there's differences, the transition between the TV show and the comic, because we had to change the scenery. We also had to change some of the dialogue. So it's kind of a nice little case study for people that are interested not only in appreciating the development process, but if they've got their own comic, sort of seeing how someone else did it.
Yeah, that's pretty neat. I like that idea. The behind the scenes bundle. I'm into the behind the scenes stuff.
And that's the drawstring bag, which it's got a huge print on it. I did go small, but it didn't look as effective. And so yeah.
That packs a punch. I like that.
Yeah, it's kind of, you can put all your goodies in it. You can put your packed lunch in it.
Yeah.
you can go to the gym with it.
Yeah, you can use it for grocery shopping since.
Yeah, I mean the size of the bags are like it's a really, really big bag, so it's not a small bag. It is actually my Adidas. Yeah.
All right. Wait, hold on. That's a drawstring bag bundle.
Yeah. So there's drawstring bag bundle. So it includes the bag, the postcards, the behind the scenes PDF. And if you want to do the variant cover, you can do that as an add-on as well.
Huh. Wait, so let's see here. Behind the scenes bundle.
Mm-hmm.
So does this basically have everything in the behind the scenes bundle, but you're adding the drawstring bag?
Yes, that's what it is.
So it's £5 for the bag edition. Holy cow. Is it fair? Is it possible to say it's too affordable?
You know what it is? I felt like with the whole coronavirus thing going on, I felt so guilty asking for money from people, because it's like, people are, sort of losing their jobs, or, want to prioritize putting food on the table. And then somebody said to me, people can still buy wine, or like they're still indulging, they need their indulgences more than ever. And I was like, that's reassuring to know. This is my kind of pandemic offer,
Right. Oh my gosh. Let me see here. Oops. And then we've got the Eyva original inked. What is that? TGII or TG2?
Can you put the screen back on?
Oops. Am I not? No, hold on. Oh, the focus is all on you. That's right.
Oh, I know. Yeah. Okay. Yes. So Timothy Green II. That's TG2. TGII. So all the inked pages, I've kept 4 of them for myself, and then the rest of them I'm basically sort of offering as a tier. And from what it looks like, I've sold 17 pages.
Yeah.
So that's some of them are a complete page. Others we had to do like little amendments later on. So you won't just get one page, you'll get sort of a whole page in little snippets, small pages to go with it,
Oh, wow. Do any of the pages include what is it called? Where you have double pages, a double page spread?
No, it's literally just one. It's not a double page spread. It's just one page. Yeah.
Okay. And have you already planned out how you're going to distribute these on this tier? For example, are you going to? Oh, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say, it will be like a random draw. So, you know, I'll put the numbers in the bag, and just, you know, for which person it is, I'll just, you know, pluck out a number, and that's the page that he'll get. So there won't be any preferences for anyone.
Okay, right on. Man, such a cool one. And that's also very affordable for original ink work.
Yeah.
And so these are the inks. So does your illustrator do all the coloring for the book?
Yeah, he did. He did the sketching, the inking, the coloring, and he's also now done the lettering. I originally tried my hand at lettering. It was all right, but it just wasn't up to the standards that is expected of a professional comic. So I gave it back to him, and I said, look, at least, you know, because when I was doing it, at least I could play around with the dialogue and everything. So when I sent it back to him, I said, at least you know what dialogue I want where. Which made it a whole lot easier for him, and he just kind of redid it with the tails in the correct form.
Right.
So yeah, so he's got like 20 years experience, you know, so I can't argue with that.
Wow, good gracious, yeah, all-in-one powerhouse there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And let's see,
he's very talented.
Yeah, I can see that. So does he do all his colors in digital?
Yeah, on Photoshop, and now it's all in Photoshop. If you see, I mean, you can find him on Facebook, and as Timothy Green II, and you'll see a lot of his work there. And yeah, you know, his work speaks for itself.
Oh yeah.
And it's also on Instagram. He also has like kind of like his own animation, which he did himself, and he also has a synthesizer, so he creates his own soundtracks as well. I completely forgot that he also creates music as well.
Wow.
And there's me buying an audio block for the video. So I said to him, look, next time it's like you're also doing the music for the video. Because he even managed to do Stranger Things. He managed to sort of pick up the beats for, you know, sort of for it, and he was playing it. So you'll find it on his Facebook page. It's just awesome. So he's got a really good ear, and you know.
My goodness, that's trippy.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and play the trailer once more.
Eyva is a cyberpunk comic book series based on a love of 80s sci-fi and fantasy fiction. The story is set in the Ardent Nation, an upbeat, stylized technological utopia set in the 23rd century. However, all is not what it seems. Individuality and privacy are rare commodities that only the governing elite are privileged to. So imagine, if you will, social media becoming the governing body of a surviving nation. Everything about you and what you do since the day you were born is automatically streamed onto your timeline. This is then monitored by a totalitarian regime known as Mainframe. Mainframe's prime directive is to compete for technological advancement and for survival in a post-apocalyptic world. In the spirit of fighting cyber terrorism, people of the Ardent Nation are kept on a short leash through the use of surveillance implants. The message is simple: comply with Mainframe's standard behavior protocol or be rehabilitated. It's all about working as a collective for a common cause while suppressing any scope for individual thought and self-expression. Eyva is now complete and ready for publication. It's a labour of love that's been brought to life by the epic illustrative skills of Timothy Green II. It's an extraordinary journey, one of which we hope our readers will join us on.
So cool. So cool. I'm glad.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was going to say thank you so much for having me on the show. You know, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. It's been an honor to have you. Do a final refresh. 78.92. All right. So 294. That's like 9 new backers. Holy moly. Sweet. All right.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who supported the campaign. Really appreciate it.
Yeah. You basically got a new family that's adopted you. So.
Oh, thank you.
All right. So I wanted to give you the floor, and please share with the world how you can be found on social media.
Okay, so basically, as well as finding my campaign Eyva on Indiegogo, you can also find me on Instagram at Eyva Comic. Also on Facebook, it will be under Eyva Comic as well. I'm also on Twitter. I have yet to get my head around it, but I will be improving my skills. But yeah, so if you want to contact me, you know, sort of feel free to do so, you know, DM me, that's fine. All right. And thank you everyone for taking the time to listen to me. Yes, I know, don't forget to use your Twitter. Yes, okay. Yeah, I mean, if Trump can use Twitter, anyone can use Twitter.
Twitter, just don't let the drama get to you. It can be kind of...
No, it's fine. I just sit and get amused by all the politics.
Oh, yeah.
I sit there with my popcorn.
For sure.
Watch all the bitter disputes, you know.
Yeah. Some people unfortunately take it kind of personally, and it affects them emotionally and all that. So,
no. I like to take things with a pinch of salt.
Yeah, for sure. Sorry. So you can find me on Twitter at WyzGyz Tweets, on Twitch at WyzGyz Twitches, on YouTube under WyzGyz Entertainment. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you select all notifications so you make sure you hopefully don't miss a stream or video. And I want to thank everyone in the chat. You guys have been awesome. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks especially to our very special guest, Eskander. And thank you all. We'll be back again soon. You're always welcome on this channel, Anis.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
It's been a pleasure. We are ending broadcast in 3, 2,